guys, welcome back to my channel. So this episode we're going to talk about a very under discussed topic within the spectrum of the gay community, and that is the relationship between Asian gay men and black gay men. Um, for me, I am the United Nations of dating and all that good stuff. Like, I will date any guy that I feel is attractive, and I am have something in common with or I'm interested in. Race has never been an issue for me. It's always been never been a barrier of entry or any of that stuff. Like, I would date any guy, no matter what his race is. Like, that just doesn't really factor into me. And luckily, it came from my mom. Like, she was always big on, like, date whoever you want. Like, there's somebody, you might meet somebody that's this race or that race. So we just want to talk about the topics because I've noticed that when it comes to Asian gay men, they don't mess around with black guys at all. Like, they just don't. Not even for friendship, not just associate with them. Like, they don't even like. It's like they don't even exist in their world, pretty much. Like, I was on Facebook the other day and I saw like one of my I guess Facebook friends, and he posted a picture of him. I think they were at the beach or something, and it was like nothing but like white guys on that picture. It was like white guys and Asian guys. That was it. There was no Puerto Rican guys. There was no Latino. There was no visibly Latino. Like, there was no one you could tell was like other than they were all white or white passing pretty much, and it was just really like eye opening to me because I'm very much okay with like Asian people wanting to be around other Asian people. That's cool because every group needs to be able to be with on their own people and feel have their own spaces that's specifically to them. But I feel like if you only associate with Asian men and white men, that's a problem. That just seems like a red flag to me. And I think a lot of Asian men do that. Like, they only date white guys or they only date other Asian. Well, actually, a lot of times they don't even date other Asian men. They usually date like other white guys. And it's like so frustrating. Like, being on apps and stuff or being in like social situations, it's like, well, what's the point even sending them a message? Like, I know I'm not gonna respond to it because I'm black. Like, I'm visibly black. Like, I'm not like ambiguous or anything. I am like unambiguously black. So it's really challenging sometimes because you feel like you want this whole solidarity, but deep down inside, like, a lot of Asian men don't see it for black dudes at all. Like, even outside, like, desirability and dating or partnering, they don't see it for us just to be friends with us most of the time. Like, they just like, nah, we don't do that. And I think I could hark back to a situation that I experienced myself. Well, it wasn't something I experienced, something I saw firsthand. I was on Facebook. One of my Facebook friends, he's Chinese, and him and his mother were discussing his sexuality. I guess he was trying to come out to her and be more open about it. And she said everything was fine, it's just as long as you don't bring home a black dude. And he had told me that there's like this derogatory word they use in China to talk about black people, and I think he said like black ghost or black monster. I'm not sure what the translation was. I forgot it, but it was like, wow, they really telling their kids don't date black dudes, and they listen because they're very loyal to their parents, which is fine. That's great. But I feel like if you're loyal to your parents to be discriminatory against a whole race of people, that's something that you need to check. And I don't think a lot of Asian men check that at all. Like, that anti-blackness just gets reverberated throughout like all their circles and all their friends and all that stuff, and it's just like really upsetting because you think about this whole like, oh, we're all people of color, we need to stick together and all that, and then they don't practice that actually. Like, their friend groups aren't like that. The people they associate with isn't like that. The people that they date and partner with isn't like that. It's like they only partner with other white men, which is so bizarre to me. But I get it because whiteness is such a premium, and even some Asian parents tell their children like, you're gonna date somebody, date a white man or somebody Asian. Like, you can't do anything else beside that. And then there's this whole like one thing I did notice, like how Indian men aren't even considered Asian most of the time. When we talk about Asian, we always just consider like South. We always think about like Korean or Chinese or Japanese, stuff like that. We don't really consider people from India to be a part of that whole Asian spectrum most of the time. Like, people like turn their head to the side like, oh, Indian. I didn't really think about that. Even though India is a part of Asia, but we don't associate that with that because we associate India with its own thing that's separate from the phototypical like Asian aesthetic. I think that some of that has to do with colorism and stuff. Because a lot of Indian people are dark skinned, so like that has no big thing through with it. But I don't think like Indian men even mess with like black dudes either. Like I've noticed that the very few Indian men that I've met, like unless they're really like more American or like not native or just like I don't know, more Americanized or Westernized, or whatever way you want to like put it, like they don't mess with black people either. Like Indian people don't mess with black people. A lot of Asian dudes don't mess with black people. Like when you think about the whole spectrum of people of color, like people don't really mess with black. Like anti-blackness within the community of color is rampant. Like they tell their kids all the time, don't mess with black people, don't associate with them, don't be friends with them, don't date them, don't do nothing with them. And it's troubling to me because they're teaching them this and then they actually do it and they telling everybody else to do it and then they have like this whole like fake kumbaya moment with POCs, but then in the back of their mind that they wouldn't mess with us, they wouldn't be friends with us. It's like you talk about like white people and how bad they are, which is something we talk about that all the time, but at the same token, you're actually like channeling a lot of that same white supremacist, anti-blackness yourself onto black people, and it's just like it's not right. It's wrong, actually. Like I've always been open-minded when it comes to race. Like I'm like, we're all here, you know. Let's just do this thing. Let's do this thing called life. And I never felt the need to like, be like, oh, I don't date Asian guys, or I don't date this, or I don't date that. I mean, when I was younger, I was a little stupid. I was like, I wouldn't date like dark skinned dudes, but that's because I was a colorist back in the day, which is because of my mother and my siblings and stuff, and my whole like environment I was in. But I broke out of it because I had to. But the fact that people talk about like, oh, these white guys talk about no Asians, but then at the same time, these Asians got to come with some pretty much practice no blacks. It's kind of like it's hypocritical. It really is, and I don't know. I just feel so weird about it because I know, like, even if you're not really like into, like, I guess, even if you don't date black guys, the fact that you don't have any black friends at all, just seems like a red flag to me. Like, it's just like it's just really like weird, and I don't know. I just don't like it. I've always been a person where I give everybody a chance, no matter what, and it just feels like everybody's out to get black people. It feels like these days, even in these communities who are marginalized themselves, feel need to marginalize other people, and the model minority, Asian thing is so real. Like it's a real thing. Like people play into that privilege that they get because there's such a premium when you're white accepted, and Asian people are definitely white accepted in society, especially in America. I don't know, just feel weird about like my interactions with Asian men, gay men. It feels like I'm just not even a person sometimes. Like I'm just like invisible sometimes to them, and it's really upsetting to me a lot of times. I mean, I've been fortunate enough lately to meet a lot of like more open-minded Asian gay men, but I know for like the majority of them, they don't see it for black people at all. Like nowhere near. Like they wouldn't even dare talk to you. Like it's like they wouldn't even like talk to you. Like they were like you don't even exist in their world. Like I don't know, and it's just not the most fun thing. I know it's not the most fun topic either. I know that it's gonna be a really like hot button topic because no one wants to feel like their race is being, you know, pulled to the carpet. But I mean, this is one of those things where we need to talk about a lot more because I feel like black people go through a lot. Everybody goes through a lot, but I feel like black people have this very unique experience of anti-blackness from so many different sides, and there's no like period of like respite for us. It's kind of like we have to deal with this all day. Like we deal with white people treating us a certain way, then we go to more marginalized groups, they treat us the same way. It's kind of like where do we go from there? So So yeah, just I don't know. I just want, if you're gonna be this whole solidarity of people of color, you should treat us with some respect and dignity, and don't treat us like we're invisible. Like, sure, you may not be attracted to black dudes, which I don't know. That's kind of weird in itself. But to not even like befriend someone who's black, or not have any black friends, or just don't associate with them, just seems odd to me. Like, there are so many black people everywhere, and for you not to be in close proximity to any black people just tells me that you're not practicing what you preach when it comes to with solidarity and all that good stuff. So, all right, I think I'm rambling on a little too long. I just wanted to talk about this because this has been on my mind for like a long time. Like, I've been feeling this way for like years, actually. Like, I just feel weird about my interactions with Asian gay men. Luckily, one of my good friends is Asian. He's been pretty. He's one of the ones that like is so open minded to where he doesn't care. Like, he's just like him. Like, he's anybody's friend if they're cool, and that's pretty much it, which I adore about him. But he's kind of like anomaly in itself. Like, a lot of Asian gay men are not like him. They're not as open minded and not like just willing to be friends with anybody. So I do appreciate him. But so yeah, that's my spill. Let me know what you think. Please leave a comment. Please engage in the conversation. Let me know what you think. How have you engaged Asian men, gay Asian men? How have you encountered them, and what has been your experience with them? Yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I will see you next video.